Hello everybody, my name is Jeff. I'm the one who created the template, and I finally have a mic so I can go through it with you to show you what is all involved with this. It is actually more than just a stencil, but if that's all you can use it for, that's all you can use it for. I'm not so sure about other programs and how they work, but Roxanne did make a video today on how to use it with Affinity, so thank you, Roxanne. Okay, so as you can see, there's a new version. This is version number 2, and there is a version number 2 for the standard and the XL hex. I will be releasing them as soon as I upload this video, so let's get busy explaining the differences and how to use them correctly in Photoshop. So let's look over the product itself right here. Please do not rescale this at all. You'll throw it off. If you move anything around, you might throw it off. So just try not to rescale the unit. This outer edge in the red is your full bleed. Yes, it's larger than your mask, and it's that way for a reason, so that you don't have any white edges around your mask. Okay, if you print to the full edge, and if you do print on a 13 by 19, you can get 4 prints per sheet if you lay it out the correct way. And I believe I showed that in my last video. I'm not going to show it in this video, but if you angle it at about a 71 degree angle, you can get 4 on a 13 by 9 sheet. So that's why we go full bleed, just so you don't get a white edge at all. This pink line is your mask edge. It is true to measurement within a 1/4 inch. Okay, sometimes you'll have a little different on the ends, but for the most part it is a true measurement, and I've gone through 10 masks to get this measurement, and it's always been the same. So the green line on the inside is 3/8 of an inch, so it's less than 1/2 of an inch away from the edge. So you do have some wiggle room. If you got to squeeze a little bit of text and you're going over the line a little bit, you're probably okay. But just know you're perfectly safe on the inside of that green line. Okay, on this here I left a note. If you double click this yellow note, it'll pop open right here. And I'll go, these are just some terminologies that you'll be using in this and how to do it. So there's an explanation of how to clip to mask. There's a definition on how to select the contents within a layer, and how to merge layers for output. Okay, so that's all in there, and it's right here in this note, and as long as you never move it, it won't go away. So to get rid of it, you just push these little arrows over to the side, and then the note goes back. If you don't see the note here, it's in the window, and you'll see, sorry, view, oh, it's window, and you'll see notes right here. If you click that, you can push it over here to the sidebar, but it should be there. Okay, so in your layers palette over here to the right is your layer stack. So I want you to look at these 2 red boxes here and try to work within these boxes. So when you add layers between these 2, and you should always be clipped to the mask. But if you don't clip to the mask, I'll show you how to do that in case it does happen, because it does happen. But work between those 2 red boxes, okay? So this bottom one here that's not lit up, that's the actual size of the mask. This is your clip. So this is the edge right here that you're seeing, and that's what everything gets clipped to. And this next layer right here, this is where you adjust for your solid color or special effects, and I'll go into that in a second. So if you have a mask and you know it's going to be black, you'll double click this right here. It's going to bring up your color picker for solid colors right here, and you can pick right through all this. Okay, you can go to solid black, which is in the bottom 2 corners, solid white top corner, black, make sure when you do pick black with sublimation that you are a 000, or a lab. It's 000. These lab colors are your spot colors. If you're used to using spot colors, those are your lab colors. Your CMYK is right here, and your hex is down here, so you should have no issue trying to get the color that you want. If you can find the color, you should be able to find the RGB, the hex, the CMYK, or the lab colors. If you can't find those, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to, but you should be able to find those to pick the color, or just pick a color in here, but you're kind of winging it. If you know anything about sublimation, it works better if you know exactly what color you want rather than trying to mess with this. Okay, so that's double clicking this here. I'll get you to that. We're gonna start with black. Hit OK. So what I mean by effects in this layer, if you click down right here and you make visible the effects, it'll allow you to insert a gradient to your background or a pattern. So if you double click on the effects right here, it's going to bring you into your layer styles, and here you have your gradient overlay and your pattern overlay. They're both checked, and that's why you have them visible here. If I uncheck the gradient, see how that visibility went away, and now only is the pattern. Okay, if you uncheck the pattern, they both go away. These are the only two things you're going to be using in here. You're not going to use a color overlay. If you're changing color, again, revert back to the solid color square out here. You're not going to be adding strokes to your mask color. So these two items is what you'll be using. So if you click on the gradient overlay, you can change your gradient to radial. You can inverse that the other way, just like this. Okay, you can do an angle, which hardly ever gets used. Reflected will be used, so that's your ombre. So you get the lighter in the middle over two sides. If you reverse that, darker, you can change the angle of that to go across. You can see that there. Okay. You can scale it, so we go real small or real wide, and 90 degrees is always where it starts out. So if you hold down the shift and pull straight up, it'll go to 90. And diamond comes from all edges, or diamond in center. Okay, so a lot of fun you could do there. Now this is where you select your gradient, and you can collect tons of gradients online. Same thing goes into effect when you're picking colors. You can test a lot of gradients to try to hit the colors, but if you know the exact color you want, but you do like the gradient, say this purple pink one here, and we go to a reflected, and there we go. So we do something like this, and you know you can hit one color red, and you know you can hit a really nice purple. You can double click in this area and then double click on your color, put in your hex, your CMYK, whatever those numbers are, hit OK. That'll change the red. Double click the purple, whatever you change it to, like, just so you know what I mean. If I wanted to change it to this green, I would just hit that'd be the number, hit OK. See how it changed it? And I hit OK to save that, and OK to get out of that. So not too hard. That's your gradients. We'll shut that off. And then patterns. So if you go double click back to effects again, our gradients are off just because they're all wacky right now because of that green. Your pattern overlay, if you double click on that, you'll go to your patterns. Same thing with gradients. You can save a ton of patterns. Okay, you can collect them. There's a lot of different patterns you can buy. So right now this pattern here is a custom pattern that I made to resemble Gucci. And it is exactly that. If we zoom in here with the scale, that's your double G right there. And you can make it as small as you want or as big as you want. I made the pattern actually because I can change the initials. So if that's something you might want, let me know. I don't know what I would charge for something like that, but I can make you a custom Gucci style emblem with your initials there. Okay? If you want something like that, or if you know a customer that might want something like that. Alright, let's see, we'll get out of this here. We're just going to cancel and put that grading back on. We're going to take the effects off because those are not loaded by default, and we'll close that panel up. We're going to stick with the black. Okay, so there's a couple ways of bringing in pictures, also text, and I'll try to show you as many as I can. So if you're just going to type, you can go to this layer here, hit the T as a short. The letter T is a shortcut for type tool. You'll see how it's different there now. And then across the top here, we'll bring up the color, all that stuff across the top, and you can go ahead and type. Okay, that would put it on that layer there. If you want another layer, so say you typed in that and you typed in hello, and that's just a weird font, so let's find something different. Okay, so say you typed in hello and you want to add another layer. With that layer selected, we'll go, but we're just going to do this button here, add a layer. Okay, now see how this layer is not clipped to the mask? We're going to clip it to the mask, and then you can put a picture in here by going to File, Place. Okay, on yours might be File, Place, Embedded, and that's what you would want to put, Place Embedded, and that would put it right there on that file. Okay, and or you drag things in. A lot of people on Photoshop drag them in. That's the easiest way to do it, and that's the way we're going to do it. So we're going to take this text layer. I'm just going to get rid of that real quick, and we can say you mess up, you get rid of a lot of things. You're like, oh man, I threw something away. Oh, I threw too many things away. This is your histogram up here. You're going to come up to it, slide to the top, click on that right there. It brings everything back to the first, where you first started out. So if you get too crazy, go back to the history on the very top, go very up to the very top. You're going to see that, click it, brings you straight back to this. Okay, that's the easiest way to get back there. So we're going to go solid black. Okay, I'm going to shut the guides off myself because I don't like working with them on, and I'm going to actually, I've already been working on something for a customer today from a company called Geodis, and so you can work in Illustrator and bring things in, so they're vector files. That's what I'm doing, hovering over, dropping in. When you do it this way, they come in as a vector image. As a smart object, so it doesn't matter how many times you scan them up and down, they'll be vector and perfectly not affected by resolution. Okay. Let's put that over there, and we'll go back over to Illustrator. You need to grab this, Control C. You can drag it or you can copy, Control C, come to Photoshop. As soon as you're here, paste, Control V, smart object, always smart object. It brings it in like this, and we are going to then downsize it here, something like that. So I got my two elements in place. 2 elements in spot. Now I need to turn on my guides. I made these side logo areas. These are new to version 2 because it's the perfect size on the mask for a round element. Logo doesn't have to be round, but try to keep it within that circle, and it's the perfect size. Otherwise it gets a little bit too big and it does not look correct. Control T. I'm just going to size this down, like I said, to the inside of that. And that is about 1 5/8 inches exact. Okay. And then what we're going to do is take this here, we're going to bring it over, and you can use some of these lines to line things up. That looks good to me. I'm going to shut the guides off. That's a little too close. I'll move this out. There we go. And then they also wanted to add a text to the bottom of that, so we're going to add a text layer to this. T. See how they put that T right in that text layer? We need to get to Franklin Gothic. Medium. Right there. So Franklin Gothic, this is just what they requested. We're going to go white on the text. And CSR. Grab a ruler from the side here just to line this up here. I'm going to be on the move tool, which is up here in the top left. That's V as in Victor is the shortcut to select that tool. If you hover over those tools, you'll see that it pops up, move tool V. You can just hit V and it's a shortcut. Select it, I'm just nudging it over. And we're gonna affect this height, squish it down to where it looks a little better. And that's good, and we're gonna move it down about there. Okay. So the reason I did this little short tutorial is we brought in basically 2 images and have a text layer, and now we have the black layer here. So you have all these images and you're wondering how you're going to get this out to save it or give it out to print. So a lot of people shut this off and just print from this, and that's just fine. I would rather you save it out a different way, just because it actually saves it out as a PNG without any of this involved. All this will be saved with your PNG. It'll be invisible, but it's there. So the best way to do that is these steps, okay? So, and these are in this little note right here. Merge layers for output. So number 1, turn off the guide layers visibility. So we did that, okay? Number 2, so if you have a Windows, it says turn off the guide layers visibility and highlight the layer directly below it. So this layer, that's directly below it. Okay, it doesn't matter what layer it is, just highlight that layer. So if you have a Windows, you're going to press Shift Control Alt E. If you have Mac, it'll be Shift Command Option E. Okay, when you do that, all these layers are going to combine into a separate layer. So we're going to do, I have Windows, so Shift Control Alt E. And you see right here, layer one is created. And that right there is a separate layer. As you can see, I'm moving it around. Okay. So the next step is right click that layer. You're going to go to duplicate layer. You're not going to say OK, you're going to make a new layer, then you're going to hit OK. Now it's all by itself. I'm just going to hide that real quick. Now you're going to hit Alt or Option, click the square, and I'm sorry, Command. If you're on Windows, it's Control, left click in the box. If you're on a Mac, it's Command, left click. That's going to create these marching ants. Okay, that's a selection. Then you're going to go to Image, Crop. So you just cropped to the edge of the selection. You have made this PNG now the smallest it can get to the edge of the selection, and this is what you will save. So you hit File, Save As, File, Save As, whatever you want to save it as. Okay, and that's what you'll do. And just make sure you do it this way, and you get rid of all the other information, and it's a nice small file. And so if I was just going to name this Geo PNG, save. Next screen, compression, smallest, always use smallest. Don't worry about no compression, it's a bigger file. The smallest file, never use the interlace, and you're going to hit OK. Okay. So up here on the top here, you're going to have a lot of tabs open by the time you're done. Trust me, it's really fast to save this way, and it's a lot more economical and better for your whole, the way you're going to be doing things. Okay. So this layer you could close. You don't need to save it because you just did. Now you're back to this layer. Remember I told you a shortcut to get back to the beginning. Just click that. Everything comes back to normal. Real safe, real easy. You're never going to mess up. Okay. And that's right here on the very top of this. Let's see what else I want to go through here. So that XL Hex 2 is no different than the standard Hex 2. They are the same. They both got the logo deals on the sides. And all measurements come from center out. So if the edges look a little weird, don't worry. Everything is centered. Everything is squared up as long as you use a template. So after you're done printing, after your print comes out of your printer, what I recommend doing is laying it flat and letting it dry, and then I just take spray, just spray it a little bit on the paper, and then I take my mask face down, and it leaves about a 1/4 inch around the whole image, around the mask exposed, which is that full bleed. And you can see that on my pictures for that unicorn. I laid out exactly how I do things. Okay, so we'll work on this standard one now, and we'll do a similar thing here. On this one here, we're just gonna drop in a photo. Okay. I know they're big enough. I always use larger photos, and if they're not big enough, I make them big enough before I bring them in. I don't like scaling in my workspace. I'd rather get all that done pre-work, and that way everything's large enough. There's a lot more to it if you really want good quality, to always get high resolution images. If not, there's ways of increasing their size with some aftermarket stuff. I recommend probably looking at some of those ways to increase size rather than just blowing it up and making it bigger, because it doesn't work that great sometimes. So we're going to be working in the standard size now, and just going to bring in an image. So we'll go to the place feature. So I'm on this layer, and that's where it should start, and we're going to go to File, Place, and this is where you find your images. So I got mine set up over here for us to use. I don't know where I want to get this thing. Let's do this one. So I had the awesome friend of mine that works for Costco that hooked me up, and I was able to make them a couple masks, but I did have to go through management to get approval, and that's where this template came into effect, actually, because I had to get everything squared up the right way. So we're gonna make this black again, and that's what this lower jaw logo is for. So, and this came out to be a perfect size, and I think I posted a picture of a chicken, and I think I had one of a Costco one there, and that's where this came into effect. So Control T and scale this down. So when I did this, this is where these went. Looks really small on the screen here. You don't want to do that too much, but that was actually perfect for them, and that's what they liked. Now, if you have a black mask and you want to see what it looks like after you shut the guides off, you can control click or command click this black here, and that's going to show you your edge of your actual mask, actual edge of the mask, so you can kind of see, you know, where your placement's at. Okay. Okay, so start back from, that's where you can put those type logos. I'll go back here to start again. I'm going to go to file, place again, drop in a real photograph here. Sorry guys, getting a little long there with this video. Go back one. Alright. Okay, so when you place a photo, it's going to come in with the you'll be able to transform it, sorry, with these corners. Just make sure you're out beyond the edges. If you're not, extend it just past the edges. Anyway, you're going to hit the enter button to place. So some people were placing it and then they go to print and it's just a big square behind here. And again, you gotta go through the steps. You could just shut this off. That's not the step, okay? And another reason why this is having it's not clipped. So if we do clip this, which is the option left click as you hover, you can print right from here. Don't recommend it, like I said. So right click, duplicate layer, make a new document, hit OK. What the heck happened there? See, I messed up even on my own. Highlighted the first layer here. Remember the steps. It's right here, merge layers. See, that's going to happen to you too. So highlight the layer, Shift Control Alt E on Windows, or Shift Command Option E gives us the new layer. That's the one we're going to duplicate layer. New, hit OK. We're on a new layer. We're going to command click or control left click the layer. We're going to go to image, crop, file, save as, and let's put tiger here, PNG, Save. Okay, it remembers the last save. Get out of this. No. X. And here. Okay, the last one we'll do here is show you some fun little stuff with those patterns. So we'll pick a color. Let's pick hot pink or purple. Let's go to purple. We'll go purple. With a deeper purple we can actually hit. Yeah, probably something like that. Okay. We're going to bring in an image. So another way of doing it is go to where your images are and drag it directly in. So we'll do that on this one. So bring this image in. Okay. We're going to set this up here in the middle. Alright. So there's this image here. I don't like working with the guides on. And we're actually going to put on our effects. Take our gradient off. Double click our pattern. Pattern will bring up this. We're going to change the way that we're going to change the pattern actually too. So we'll change the pattern. I made this pattern yesterday. So we'll scale that up. We'll scale that up. Probably right there. And we're going to change this to overlay or screen. We'll give you a different effect. I'm going to say overlay. Hit OK. And then I'm going to double click the layer with the Raheem George mashup. It's going to bring me into its layer effects for that layer. I'm going to do a outer glow. We're going to change the outer glow to normal, 100%. We're going to make sure we're white, which is all the way F in the corner. And we're going to increase that size out. And then we're going to change the blending mode to overlay. I think overlay is what we're going to. I think we're going to do overlay. Hit OK. And that just creates like a backlight behind it just a little bit, changing some of those hands. And you know, you can move him wherever you want him. And well, I'm just gonna leave him right here. That's Radio Raheem, mash up with George Floyd. The artist name who made this his name is Fresh Laundry. His real name is actually Theophilus Smith. He's pretty awesome. Anyway, if you are familiar with the movie Do the Right Thing, then you know who Radio Raheem is and their connection in this case. So, let's go ahead and save this out too, why not? So again, shut off your top layer if it is on. We're going to shut this off. Select that top layer. Shift Control Alt E or Shift Command Option E. Right click. Duplicate layer. New. Hit OK. Command or Control click here. Go to Image, Crop, File, Save As, and we're just going to put here Radio Floyd. Save. Okay. Okay, and that does it for that. Nope. Nope. Not saving anything here. And no there. We're going to show you now how to go to a mock-up situation with Silly's standard mock-up. So you should have this file. It's available on his website. They leave it blank so you can do with it what you want. This is what I did with it. So this is my mock-up for certain websites, and you should have this already. Has all the different color strings, blue, and so on and so forth. So to do your mock-up, you double click this right here. Well, first let's fix this mock-up because it's bad from the get-go. You're gonna Alt left click the mask right here, or Option left click the mask, and you're gonna see this little white area here. We need to get rid of that. So go to your brush tool, B, and make sure you're black, and get rid of all these little white spots because they're actually a messed up part of the mask. And then same thing, you're gonna Option and left click the same thing, get you back out, and that's fixed. Without fixing it, sometimes you'll have your mask out here showing because it wasn't erased. Anyway, double click here. So right off the bat, this square in the center is too small for your new images because you have a full bleed. So we're going to increase the size of this square. So we're going to go to Image, we're going to go to Canvas Size, and we're going to change this to 9 inches by 5.5 and hit OK. And that's it. Okay. The reason you're seeing that rectangle there is because this rectangle here is probably active in yours as well. We're just going to get rid of that. So we're going to add a new layer. And you can actually just toss this because you're only going to be using this for mock-ups. You don't need that other layer. So to get back to the Silky standard from this zone, you need to save. Control S brings us back out to Silky. To get into that smart object area, double click this, brings you back in. This is where you're going to load in your file. So we go to our files where we have them, and go to our files. There we go. So these are the ones. So if you have some that show a black mask around here, sometimes it just shows up black. It's not black. So we're going to bring this into there, and we're going to drop it in. See, there's no black, so don't worry about that black so much. So you're here, and we're just going to hit the Enter button and Control S, and that's going to bring us back out, and it's going to generate that on the mask. Okay, and then you can choose what colors you want to pop from your mask. So there's like blue. You get the idea. Okay, so to get back in, we double click this, and we can do a new layer and shut that layer off. And then you can just go back out, bring in like Radio Floyd here. We're going to bring him in. We're just going to bring him in and drop him. Okay, you can hit Enter or this little check mark, does the same thing. Control S saves it and then generates it out here. There's our man hitting us with that love hate, and we can pick whatever you want for strings. We could do straight pink like that, and you can zoom in to take your pictures because it's all high quality. You know how we do. And let's do one more here. Double click. You can shut that layer off. Do your next one. Bring in your next one. I did some tie-dyes. We're just going to bring that in for fun. Drop it. Click the little check mark or hit enter. Control S. Let's take some pictures from mock-up. So there you go. And then that's how it's done. So you can just get your mock-ups done real quick from your saved printables, actually. So the reason that works is every one of these files is 300 DPI, and it's very important now to know how you print. If you print at 300 DPI, then leave everything the same, because everything you get from Silky is going to be at 300 DPI. Everything I design is at 300 DPI. If you print at 200 DPI, or if you use low resolution images more than you would like to, but that's all you can get, print at a lower DPI. You can change every one of these files to work for you. So if you download a file from Silky and it's 300 DPI, but you print at 175 or 200 DPI, which is perfectly fine, it's going to look beautiful on as long as you're doing a mask. If you're doing something on like high quality prints like metal, something like that, you're going to be able to see it, but you're not going to see it on masks or clothing. So 175, 200, it's a pretty good range for fabric. If you do print in those ranges, modify the files first. Okay, so if I'm at a lower DPI, I can bring in a lower quality image and I won't have to blow it up so much, because I don't have to give it out 2 times the size, if it makes sense to you. So I'm going to show you real quick how to do that. If you're on this and you got this from his website, which you should get it, you'll go to image at the top right here. You're going to go to image size, and right here, resolution. So first thing you do, you open it up, you're going to change this resolution to whatever you print from. So if you print at 200, like right now, I can put this at 200. I'm going to hit OK. You're going to see this thing get really small when it's done. It doesn't make it to where you got to work that small. It's just making it smaller. There's less dots per square inch. Okay. This is a really large file because of everything going in it right now. So it looks really small, but if you go to right here, it says fit on screen. It brings you right back to where you just were. Okay. Fit on screen. Now you're at 200 DPI. If you print at 175, you'll do that at 175. Okay. Do it here and also do it on, I'm not going to save that. You're going to also want to do that on the files I sent. Okay. So let me show you real quick. Same thing here. If you print at a lower DPI, set that first. Save it right out the box. Just at that lower DPI. That way there's no issue with the way you print. Go to image. Go to image size. You're going to change this right away to whatever it is, 175. Okay, just say 175. Hit OK. Looks small. Trust me, fit on screen. You're right back up to where you were. Doesn't look any different. The only difference is when you print, you're going to print to what you use on your printer, if that makes sense. Okay. So I know I went a little long on this, but I wanted to show you guys how to use it. And you know, the first time I came around, it was a 5-minute video, and I really had to squeeze as fast as I can, try to get that 5 minutes in. But hopefully you have a little more understanding of what this is. I am going to have a link because a lot of you have wanted to send me money. I didn't want money for the files, and but I do appreciate it. So what I did was make a donation button. If you do want to donate anything, it doesn't matter if it's $1, $3, it doesn't matter to me. That will be available in the description by the video on YouTube. So, like I said, it's not obligated. The file is free. But if you feel that this has saved you time and money and you want to repay it, that's fine. I'm not going to say no anymore. I've been offered too many times. So there will be a donation button, and you can donate right on that link. Okay, and that just goes to future endeavors, I guess. I don't know what else to say. I just like this group of people, and I really hope that you guys benefit from this. If there's any questions about it, or something's just not working for you, some of you have reached out to me on Messenger, and I've walked it through with you. But trust the templates; they're true. A lot of people also want them for the kid sizes. I'm not quite understanding why they might want them for the kid sizes, but if that is something that people want, please message me. If I get at least 5 or 10 people that want a kid size, then I'll go ahead and make one. But I'm not going to have logo placements and stuff like that. But I could give you the outline and do that. But this has been fun. I don't want to go any further with this, so I would just like to say thank you, and I hope everybody has a great year. It's been very hard on all of us, and very heavy, but I hope everybody the best. Thank you very much.